gentlemen, we are here today. Modifieds rolling out on the track. I know it's a little bit late. They went a little bit late. They had their fence repairs all day long. Very interesting day here at the Gateway Dirt Nationals. Modifieds rolling on to the Speedway. And I want to be very nice. I want to be very nice. I really do. We're just taking the lights off. Lights are off, ladies and gentlemen. Lights are off. We're not in the Continental. We're in an oceanic world. We're riding the wave, hopefully, in more than one scenario. But we do have the race on. That's why I'm looking this direction. This way is looking at the chats. There's a ton of them. But this modified A main event should be pretty good. We just watched the late model A main event. I think we could all say for the sane people of the world, we wanted Bobby Pierce to actually win that event. But there was extra. Well, we didn't want Bobby Pierce to win the event. That's the wrong way to say it. We wanted a show, right? We wanted a show. Well, I wanted a race. I think the Thursday night of the Gateway Dirt Nationals was a race. I think that Friday night of the Gateway Dirt Nationals was a show. And I think tonight of the Gateway Dirt Nationals was a mixture of both the race and the show. It was the perfect combination. Of course, their driver or show intro, I would say the show intro every year is the most granulous show intro that you can ever experience in person. I watched the intro via streaming tonight. It does not compare to the in-person experience of that show intro. The driver intros, I feel like, lacked a little bit of lacking of creativity. Of course, my song, This Is How We Do, was blackballed from drivers being able to use it to come into their intros. I don't know why. I don't understand it. But I feel like once we got into the A-Main, we had us a race. And me personally, I'm from the... And this is a big deal, and maybe this is the sprint car side of me. And when I say the sprint car side of me, you know, I have slowly got to learn over the years. You know, I've grown up a sprint car fan. I'm from the Dallas, Texas area. It's a very modified, heavy based area. But I'm a sprint car guy at heart, and that's, I guess, if most people are going to call me anything, they'd say, yeah, the sprint car guy or Kyle Larson's guy. Same thing, right? So, in my opinion, over the last few years, since I got more involved with late model racing and going to late model events, I was really admirable of how much fan support and of the drivers of the late model industry that the late models receive. Because that's kind of the thing in the sprint car industry I complain about is our sprint car stars on a full-time basis are guys who are racing sprint cars week in and week out. They do not receive the iconic support from the fan base in comparison to a Kyle Larson, for instance. Kyle Larson trumps every single superstar that we have in sprint car racing. And I found it very admirable and uplifting and inspirational and just very inspirational is the best word to actually use there, to find the late model world so refreshing in a department that their fan bases worship or support or rally behind or show up to racetracks for their superstars. Their David, for instance, like I've already said it in the past, you know, I've been to late model races where Kyle Larson's T-shirt trailer is next to Davenport or Jimmy Owens or any of y'all stars, and Davenport and Jimmy Owens lines around the block, and Kyle Larson has a little bit of a group of people. And at a sprint car race, though, you know, Kyle Larson's trailer shows up, and it just destroys David Gravel, destroys Donnie Schatz. You know, this was one of the inherited issues that the World of Outlaws had with Tony Stewart back in the day. They refused to allow him to sell T-shirts at Volusia. And the reason for that is because they knew if they put Tony Stewart's T-shirt trailer at Volusia next to their outlaw drivers, that their regular drivers would lose money. And I found it very inspirational to find another sector of dirt track racing where the fans supported their drivers, because that's one of my biggest frustrations with the sprint car racing industry is that lack of support for our stars by our fan base, our best, our Davenports and our Brandon Sheppards and our Bobby Pierces. You know, you could say is Gravel, Brad Sweet, Sheldon, whatever, Shots. Those guys are not as demanded by the fan base of the sprint car industry. So I found that very inspirational. But when I got into this industry as well, and this is where I might piss some people off in the late model industry, I think that what I just described as far as fandom and admiring a dirt track racer more than a NASCAR racer from dirt track racing, for instance, Tyler Reddick, y'all don't really care about him in comparison to your stars. You don't even care about Larson in comparison to your stars, which is great. That's what I think sprint car racing can learn from the late model industry, is how to support your actual stars more than anybody else. And that's what y'all do. Y'all do a hell of a job in doing that. But something that I have noticed, and maybe Gateway kind of enhances this idea, but it seems to be very true. There is a certain level, and maybe this is why I pissed off Charlie Mefford and what I was trying to explain. And to an extent, I hope at this point, if this is where the late model industry wants to go, if this is where this fendered industry wants to go, if this, once again, I'm trying not to make anybody upset. I'm sorry if I do. But if this is a direction that you in the late model racing industry want to go, I hope, I don't care that our fan bases, our sprint car fan base loves Kyle Larson more than any sprint car driver there is ever live or be successful. I hope that there is a straight up fucking line drawn between sprint car racing and dirt track racing. Because let's face it, sprint car racing already is kind of segmented. It's this odd vehicle that's different than everything else. You got 360s, 305s, and the 410s. Everything else that's out there, from a mini stock to a super late model, all your fendered classes, it's just different, you know. Maybe the big block modified could be in its own separate entity as well. Maybe that's why the World Finals represents those three classes. But big block modifieds are relatively regional. But what I mean by this is something that I have noticed with the fendered, we'll call it the fendered community, and something that I hope y'all can learn or appreciate from the open wheel community that I'm potentially about to explain to you for the first time. If the fendered dirt super late model community is trying to act in such a classless, white trash way and wants to be promoted that way, let me say it this way, because you can't. I heard it from a really good guy tonight who called me, very famous person actually, and we had this discussion. Not going to name drop because I'm not a douchebag. It's not Donnie Shots. It's somebody bigger than him, in my opinion, as far as like normal fame. And he said, Chaz, you know, what you're talking about is kind of hard to ignore, you know. In racing, it's very interesting in the pitting area. In a dirt track or even a sprint car pitting area, within 300 feet, we're talking about those pitting areas in these racing events. Within 300 feet, you could draw a circle 300 feet in diameter. And within that 300-foot diameter in a dirt track racing pitting area, you can find some of the best people in the world, and you can find some of the worst people in the world. And that's true. And that goes for sprint car racing, dirt track racing, hell, probably even asphalt racing, probably even NASCAR and F1. You could say that for pretty much every sport out there. But I think certain communities make sure that the trash is taken out. because or better sense, maybe the trash isn't taken out, but the trash isn't going to represent the entire fucking pitting area or the entire sport. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that when some fucking idiot can't drive his fucking race car and goes in there and gets spun out by another fucking idiot, and then that fucking idiot runs across the racetrack and jumps up into the cockpit and looks like Jerry Springer fucked Maury's girlfriend and they had a baby on the racetrack in this white trash redneck scenario, that the people in charge of that projection of what those people represent, this whole entire building, they aren't happy. They don't appreciate that scenario right there that I just described to you, that Jerry Springer redneck trailer trash bullshit, they don't want that to represent the fucking sport. They don't want Jonathan Davenport to be in the same sentence or visual perspective as that fucking shit. So they're not happy when Barstool retweets white trash redneck fucking bullshit. Because they understand, people who actually, I don't think that anyone in the sprint car racing industry would ever be happy about that. Maybe y'all are hoping for publicity so much that that's so great to y'all that a million new people get to see your sport in that way. They don't see Bobby Pierce's amazing run through the race. They don't care. They don't see Jonathan Davenport's dominance over the year, or Brandon Overton, or Ricky Thornton Jr.'s climb through the motorsports world. They don't see all that. No, they see what this sport, what I just described as being represented at. It's being represented as that fucking shit. Okay? So this is where I think I draw the line here. Because in a sprint car racing industry, and I don't know if this is classism or what the fuck y'all want to call it, but in the sprint car racing community, if some shit fucking happened like that, yeah, it may get some Facebook rounds and all that, but there ain't going to be one motherfucker happy about it. They don't want, maybe this is back to classism and imagery. What the image of the sport is, the respect factor. Do y'all remember the movie Cars 2? And they go off into the fucking woods in Cars 2 and they run into a dirt track, right? And it's a bunch of fucking rednecks missing teeth. And it's a bus. And this asphalt industry, in collaboration with Disney, tried to, in my opinion, what they did there, tried to tell the youth of the future of America that these dirt ovals in the backwoods are just a bunch of fucking dumb rednecks with their school buses. And then y'all come out here and you back it up with how you act to project yourselves. See, so I think maybe in the sprint car racing industry, they understand the importance of an image. They understand that you may get some attention for showing your ass on OnlyFans, you slut-ass bitch, but you ain't going to get no respect from the people of our world by being some OnlyFans bitch showing your ass. So y'all could be great. Oh, we got some views. Oh, I'm sure the girl on OnlyFans is happy about her views. But it ain't respectful views, in my opinion, and the world's opinion as well. That's why Barstool and their whole entire comment section is making fun of the fucking sport. Go read it. Laughing at us. Making fun of this sport. Because that's the projection you allow to be induced and intaked and promoted. It's disgusting. Now, there's a lot of good things happening in this dome outside of that bullshit. Outside of that trailer trash Jerry Springer bullshit, laughing and throwing their cars out the building and trying to get those OnlyFans-based attention. Attention-based, flamboyant, kind of just, here I am, please watch me. There's other things out here. Like right now, this modified race is fucking amazing. They're on the wall, they're on the bottom. They're putting on a show, but all this show goes out the fucking window when you're okay with that shit and you promote it and embrace it. And when you interview the people and you're hoping they make a fucking ass out of themselves on a camera so you can put it on your Facebooks and blast it to the fucking world around us. I don't think that would ever be acceptable in the sprint car community. Ever. Ever. Brian Carter would, if that type of shit happened at a World of Outlaw sprint car event, they would try to remove every fucking evidential-based piece that there was. Because they don't want their fucking hard-earned work and respect for these other drivers to be tossed out the fucking window and be plagiarized as this shit. If I'm Jonathan Davenport or any driver in this field with any type of respect for the career that I've had, I'm shaking my fucking head when that fucking Jerry Springer shit gets more attention than all the fucking actual recognizable basic accomplishments that I've done in my entire career. And I think people in the sprint car racing industry at the top of it understand that respect. But once again, this is back to why people hate Knoxville. We got a sprint car museum over there that's a fucking museum with suites and towers and shit. We got some class to ourselves. And it bothers me that I got to be the one to tell this, once again, the amazing, admirable. I admire the late model industry. I hate to be the person that sits here and says this shit. But it's something, see, I do this thing that some of these other people don't do because they're so caught up in trying to make some money and sell some ads and all this other shit. I do this thing called social science. I've been doing this thing called a social science. For 7 fucking years, I've been up and down this road studying different people from different walks of life and actually having firsthand experience on how communities and different interactions and things work in the world. I don't just sit here and assume. No, I'm not saying what I'm saying based on assumption. I'm saying what I'm saying based on experience. Based on actual personal anecdotal evidence. I'm not just talking out of my fucking ass. And unfortunately, this is a big thing in the fender world that needs to change. Y'all got a lot of things going right. A lot of things going right. A ton. And the respectable drivers out there who've actually busted their fucking ass to build a racing career and a name on victoriousness. And coming from the bottom, now you're here, Ricky Thornton's, or whooping ass on the cushion like a Bobby Pierce, or any of these, Brandon Sheppard, who won tonight. Any of you guys, I don't know how y'all sit back and be quiet when that's what plagiarizes your entire racing career. Instead of this industry pumping up and being proud of your accomplishments, and trying to garnish some fucking attention for that, they're over there hoping and pleading and prodding people, trying to make them act like a fucking idiot so that they can get attention and represent your career under that fucking umbrella. And this is why I think the Brian Carters won't let that shit roll in the sprint car industry. I think this is why the Brad Sweets would never be happy about that. They would never be up there later that night after Barstool retweets it and goes and reads those comments of the jokes and the derogatory comments of this sport. They would never go up there into the Flow Racing booth and brag about it. Never. Because they understand the actual damage that image is doing to their sport and their drivers. So I wanted to say this as nice as I could, but I only know how to get on here and tell you what I think, man. I only know how to come on here and say what I feel and what I think and be raw and true. And even the people that I'm talking about that are in charge of this thing or are happy that, you know, your Jerry Springer shit's overshadowing everything else in your sport. They understand why I'm here saying how I'm saying it. Because that's the only way I know how to be. This is why people tune into me instead of some other people sometimes. Because they know when they get here, they're going to get what a motherfucker feels and thinks. And so I've sat here the last 4-ish years slapping the sprint car community around on how this late model industry, their fans, and how they operate money-wise, support-wise for their full-time drivers is so much better than you sprint car people. You sprint car people are years behind in respect for your drivers from your fan base. The next NASCAR driver from sprint cars will be bigger than any of your next sprint car stars for 30 fucking years. Because it's already been happening for 30. So I've been telling the sprint car racing community this for a long time because it has a lot of facts to back it up. But then I also have to come back here and say, sprint car community, good job for having some fucking class. Good job for some of y'all not accepting certain behavior because your understanding of the image portrayal of your entire fucking sport. So once again, there's a lot of things in this dome that are great. There's racing that's happening right now that's amazing. Ricky Thornton Jr. just fell off the field and went into the infield. But at the end of the day, like the very famous person said to me earlier, within a 300-foot radius of the pitting area, you have some of the worst people in the world and some of the best people in the world. And in the sprint car racing industry, we make sure those fucking worst people don't get an ounce of attention or respect. We make sure to hide that bullshit. Whereas it seems like because we know that, like this Fender situation, we know that if you let that fucking Jerry Springer shit get out, that, yeah, this world around us that feeds on drama and chaos is going to watch that, feed that, and eat that up more and literally label the entire industry as white trash rednecks driving in a circle off in the fucking woods. And to me, that's a very unfair label to the late model, sprint car, and entire dirt track racing community. But when you have shit like that happen and you help it grow, you are a part of the problem. So, hopefully you'll learn the best and the worst is in your pitting area. And if you help promote the worst, it's going to destroy your best. It's going to misrepresent. It's going to make sure that your sport is misunderstood, because we all can sit here and say it's not just a bunch of white trash rednecks going in circles. We know that, right? Us people with knowledge. Well, new people don't have fucking knowledge. They're only going to eat up what you give them, what you serve them on a silver platter and boost up and support. Sprint car industry would never support some shit that we seen this week in that dome. They almost would be kicked out based on embarrassment to the industry. So, I mean, hopefully the late model industry can learn what I'm talking about and understand it, but it's not helping you. It may help you sell some tickets. It may help you get some people in there for your show you got over here, but it ain't going to help the sport. Oh, no. It ain't going to help the sport, in my opinion. But there's a lot of good things happening in this dome that could help the sport. I'm not blaming the dome race in particular. I'm blaming the media that can manipulate the outcome or make people believe a certain way about something. Media is manipulation at the end of the day. They know what they're doing. Hold on, let's look at the comments real quick. I'm sorry to be mean. Oh, God. Wow, y'all are actually agreeing. Thank you for calling this out, Chaz. I totally... Bodine's in here. I'm sure that's Brett Bodine. No, I'm just playing. I totally agree. You are 100% correct. Medford tried so hard to create a viral moment tonight, even said so in the interview, shaking my head. Yeah, you got these people who go in there and wreck now. Speaking, y'all, when Charlie Medford, when I pointed this out, what was it, 2 years ago? Medford went out there and showed his ass, embarrassed the sport, and I still stand by it. I mean, he got his T-shirt sales, and he got famous for a night, and that's all he's trying to do. Now you got all these people out here trying to do the same fucking thing. You got all these people out here throwing all the morals out and trying to be an OnlyFans model and show their fucking ass. It ain't about morals or integrity when these people are piling through fences and getting out and laughing. It ain't even my car, man. But I know you can't park it. They're just trying. They're doing all they can for attention, right? Yeah, attention. OnlyFans.com/Dirt Late Model Racing or Gateway Dirt Nationals. Just fucking start your own OnlyFans account if you're just going to let this show your ass shit be the main attraction or the influence for your competitors or your event. Just start an OnlyFans account. That's what I would suggest. Are you a fan of the Northeast Modifieds? I've actually drove the Northeast Modifieds. I think they're great race cars. I think they're, in my opinion, a Northeast Modified is a Silver Crown sprint car with a body on it. Not as big of a tires, obviously, but I don't have a problem with them. I like solid rear axles. I think any race car with a solid rear axle is a driver's race car. You got to drive those cars with your feet. You get in these modifieds and these late models, you got 4 bars underneath you, and the suspension starts driving the vehicle for you, and technology outdoes everything. You know, that's what I wanted to talk about tonight with the modified or Pierce versus Sheppard situation. Obviously, Pierce was coming to put on a show. He broke. Sheppard wins. And you got these vanilla interviewers that's trying to get some you can't park here shit, and it takes 2 minutes to get to an actual point. How does it feel to win the Gateway Dirt Nationals? Well, it probably feels great, right? I mean, why would it not feel any better? And then it took Brandon Sheppard 2 minutes to get into the actual question. I said it with the people I was watching with. I was like, why didn't he ask him about how's it feel to be back in a rocket and how this sets the tone for 2025 with you and Mark Richards? There's an actual question for the interviewer in the future of the sport. But how does it feel to win? Oh, it feels fucking great. What do you think? Oh, well, I don't know. I think I got to, how's it feel? My stomach's kind of bubbly. I might have to take a shit. What fucking answer do you think you're going to get here? Seriously. How does it feel? But, interestingly enough, this Brandon Sheppard victory did spur the new rekindling between Rocket and Brandon Sheppard. Of course, he's going to be in the Rocket 1 next year. Hopefully that the dirt late model fendered industry can withstand this misrepresentation and misunderstanding projection of what their sport is after this year. But at the end of the day, I think that this is the USA versus the Canadian battle happening. And I think that Brandon Sheppard, is going to go to the World of Outlaws. I think that the Rocket 1's going to go to the World of Outlaws next year. That's where Bobby Pierce is going to be. I think we saw a preview for the World of Outlaw Late Model Series Championship in this race tonight. And I think that most people need to understand that this is truly the United States versus Canada. This is truly the United States versus Canada, because no matter what you think or believe about Longhorn chassis, and no matter what you think about Mark Richards and the Josh, I know people still kind of hate Mark Richards because he, the son, I can't believe he let Josh Richards go. No matter what you think about Rocket chassis and Longhorn, this is the AFC NFC of the dirt late model industry. This is AFC NFC. This is the two big dogs hunting. Everybody else is just a part of the conference. I'm sorry, Ryan Gustin and Infinity Chassis. Rocket and Longhorn is the two main hitters. And at the end of the day, if you drive a Rocket, you support the United States. And at the end of the day, if you drive a Longhorn, you support Canada. Because Steve Arpin is from Canada, guys. Steve Arpin is one of the best modified drivers to ever walk, but he's from Canada. Okay? I don't know if y'all knew this. He's from Canada. So if you support Trudeau, no, I shouldn't say it like that. I'm just playing. But this is USA versus Canada in a very comical way. This is Longhorn versus Rocket, which in essence, one owner's from America, one owner's from Canada. Or one face of the chassis is from America, one face is from Canada. So this is a border war in itself. And this is going to be very interesting. Can Rocket resurge with Brandon Sheppard? Because it's going to be very interesting. Longhorn has just taken over the industry so much that you almost have to look at Rocket as the underdog. Although 10 years ago, wow, who would have ever said that? Now, also tonight, there was some drama in this building about why Hudson O'Neal didn't get in. Obviously, we saw Longhorn Chaz, or not Hudson O'Neal, sorry. I can't believe Hudson O'Neal's name just ran through my head. Oh, I got a headache. We saw how Tyler Erb didn't get into the show and Brandon Overton did, who is now in the Longhorn Riggs Motorsports house car for Longhorn or whatever it is. Because the house cars aren't cars that are ran from the actual chassis shop. They're just cars that say, I'll be the house car, and I guess they get a price break on chassis or free chassis. I'm not sure how that works, but you had a situation there where people were upset that Tyler Erb did not get a provisional because he was a past champion, and then Brandon Overton got into the show. Now, what was very interesting there for me was possibly the greatest sponsorship connection of favoritism I've ever seen in my life. And possibly the best sponsorship dollar paid in the history of motorsports. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what the fuck Coltman Farms is. And I'm sure you don't know what Coltman Farms is. But you know what Coltman Farms is, correct? So Coltman Farms was the guy who sponsored the cautions, because every fucking 2 or 3 minutes we heard the Coltman Farms caution on the speedway. Now, when I saw Brandon Overton get this final provisional, and it was so, wow, how did this happen? And they said, oh, fast time and all that didn't make the show. The first thing that pops into my head is business. I think of this shit in a business sense. I don't think of this like, the regular fan. I think of the media, how's it projected, the business, how this business is being uplifted or downpoured, how the manipulation of the backside business politics are working, and how the money's exchanging hands. And so when I heard Brandon Overton got the provisional, I didn't hear because he was the fastest guy who didn't make the show. I heard Coltman fucking Farms. Because for me personally, at least, the one driver that Coltman Farms has been associated with on the national scene for years upon years right now, at least this is just me. Maybe I'm being an idiot right now. Every time I've heard Brandon Overton over the past few years, I feel like I've always heard Coltman Farms right there with him. So I kind of associate personally, maybe this is wrong, I personally associate Brandon Overton as a Coltman Farms driver. So when I first saw, or when they first said, oh, Brandon Overton randomly selected because he missed the show and Turbo, a past champion, hasn't, I was like, this is the Coltman Farms Dirt Nationals. This is the fucking backhanded, you pay me for this and I'll pay you for that. We'll get your boy in the show somehow with this Napa Auto Parts sponsorship. Coltman Farms, you're going to sponsor our cautions? Okay, we'll make sure old Brandon Overton gets into the show. The business, the politics. It's a weird mixture in the racing world. But unfortunately, the sad truth or the good truth of the scenario is that Tyler Erb had a past championship provisional that he utilized last year and did not have one. Now, this provisional, outside of a past champion provisional, has traditionally been a promoter's selection. Traditionally, it's been a promoter selecting a driver outside of the past champion's provisional. So when I saw that happen tonight, a past champion didn't utilize it because Brandon Sheppard was last year's champion, the only champion who had a provisional remaining. I saw it as a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours provisional. And they can say fastest driver that didn't make the race, but I still see Brandon Overton as a Coltman Farms driver, personally. That's how I associate Coltman Farms with dirt late model racing. Although, once again, I've been into the national dirt racing scene only for 4 or 5 years, really going to their events, talking to the drivers, getting to know the people. So this is just how I see it. Like I said, I could be completely wrong here. But that's how that's how I viewed it when I heard that. I was like, oh, that makes sense. It's the Coltman Farms guy. It's business. Now, media's job, this is back to the manipulation and how you can plagiarize the sport with the wrong image. Media's job And this is the fucked up part about racing media or even real media. CNN, Fox News, all these people, all media. This is how it works. This is why whoever you know how they talk about in today's society? It's fucked up that pharmaceutical companies can sponsor CNN and be the advertisers on news networks. Why? They always say this. So why is that so bad? Oh, because now these pharmaceutical companies can dictate what the actual broadcasters say and how they project things. Because if you make one of these pharmaceutical companies look bad, you lose their money. So it's media's job. Technically, in today's society, it is media's job to hide the truth in exchange for financial support. This is why the Chaz don't have much financial support outside of you glorious fans who love to support and give your sponsor or small-time guys or regular people who support the truth and not what I just described to you. But this is why I don't fall in the category with these people. Because I don't fall into that category. In my opinion, as an honest, truthful person, Brandon Overton got into that show tonight because Coltman Farms was one of the main sponsors. It seemed like that caution thing better costed a bunch of money. One of the big supporters of the Gateway Dirt Nationals, and Brandon Overton is one of the Coltman Farms guys, and he didn't make the show. Media's job, let's just say in an imaginary world, that's 100% the truth. Let's just say they were in the back room and that was the actual truth of what happened. The actual truth as to why Brandon Overton got in there was because of Coltman Farms and the relation to the Gateway Dirt Nationals, and they put him in there. Let's say that's 100% fact, right? Media's job, even in the racing industry, media's job is to do everything they can to make sure you don't know that. Their job is to make sure you don't know that's happened. Just like with the pharmaceutical companies and everything in the regular media, they're doing all this shady shit and they're financially supporting the company. And when they do some shady shit, they're like, you better fucking hide it or we're pulling the plug on this financial support of your station. Fuck you. Do you want to lose a couple $1 million or do you want to allow a little bit and make us look good? Most people are picking money over morals today, if you haven't noticed. So, this is, I mean, one of the reasons Turbo didn't get in is because he didn't have the past champion provisional because he used it last year. But on the other hand, I think that the reason Overton got the provisional was because of a you scratch my back, I scratch your scenario. They can say, the media can come out and say, oh, he was the fast timer who didn't make it. But in years past, it's just been, oh, it's a provisional, it's the promoter's choice. You know, that's why that whole no provisionals needed with Jason was such a thing with Scott Bloomquist because Cody just came out and picked Scott to get into the race the one time. And that's why it was a joke, because they're like, what did Scott do to deserve this? When we all knew it was because, you know, it was going to make people watch and it would make the AMA more intriguing, but nobody wanted to own that in a way because it made you look bad. Once again, back to images. People are usually trying to make their image look good. And that's why I don't understand, let's just circle this all around. I don't understand how these people in this industry that I'm talking about, doing what they're doing in the dirt track racing world to protect an image, can't understand how much damage they're doing to the image of the sport when they project it the way that they do, when they support certain actions and certain ways of being. I'm glad some of y'all in the comment sections actually understand that. They're smart enough to take the money and hide some of this shit because of the importance of an image. But then they do what they do and trash the image that all these people have worked so hard to build. It just don't make no sense. I think the Defender world needs to take a few pages out of the book of the sprint car racing industry, especially in the class department. In my opinion, you need some help. You need. I don't know. Once again, I always go back to it. You know, and Joe says it too. So you're telling me it's the money. That's why, Chaz. Telling me it's the money, and then I'll always respond because you can always point out some glorious hypocrisy to the scenario. Hypocrisy is the issue. Complete hypocrisy. And y'all can see it. Y'all regular people out there in the world, you could see the fakeness, the bullshit on the screen. You can see how dumb some of these people look. And then you can also see how stupid some of these people who are interviewing them and doing this and that, how just you could see authenticity. You're from the authentic world, you know. And then you can also see something that just doesn't add up. Wasn't Macedo just the center of a controversy with the sprint cars? Yeah, he was in the center of it from almost killing some people and damaging race cars and costing people money. We got all upset and mad about that. Y'all drive race cars through the fence and fucking get out and laugh about it. Y'all get out when y'all junk fucking race cars and tear up fences and cause an hour and 15, 20-minute delay. Y'all get out the fucking car and start joking about your car you just destroyed that ain't even fucking yours. And everyone thinks it's funny and what we're supposed to do to get some attention. Once again, onlyfans.com/gatewaydirtnational. Start the fucking page next year. Because that's showing your act. When you act like that, that ain't admirable. That ain't admirable. That ain't cool. That ain't respectful. That's showing your fucking ass. That's some OnlyFans shit. That shit won't fly over here on the sprint car side. Because maybe I think at the end of the day, like I said, or like the guy said on the phone, that's because in sprint cars, man, it's life and death. The amount or the risk of life in these moments in a sprint car is so serious that when wrecks happen and things happen, it's all taken seriously because of the seriousness of the situation. Asphalt super late models don't think it's funny when they junk race cars. No, they probably fucking don't. And that's the problem here. Everyone's fucking laughing. I mean, there was a few guys sad, but the one guy in the modified wrapped his shit up into the fence and gets out, starts laughing about it and saying you can't park there and just fucking doing exactly what the influential OnlyFans model did a few years ago. Showing his ass, just trying to get that attention, that clickbait. It's so similar to the OnlyFans style model or the Instagram chick. Y'all just want that attention. What happened in your childhood? Why do you lack it? Why do you desire that so much? What's mentally deranged? And what's the problem with you people? When you're willing to exchange moral for more attention. Honestly, I'm not going to sit here. I've been told I should be a psychologist. But you fucking people got some shit fucking wrong upstairs. You people looking for that style of attention in such an actual bad moment, either you're privileged beyond belief or you're fucking mentally deranged. I remember when I got mad at Charlie Medford for what he did, and I said in my video, he just wrecked an $80,000 modified and fucking started laughing about it. And then when I talked to Charlie, which he's a good guy, he's just a kid. Oh, there probably ain't nothing but 40,000 in that car. It ain't got 80 in it anyway. $40,000. You think destroying $40,000 is still funny? Is it still funny to destroy $40,000? What are y'all people laughing about? Once again, you just have to be insane privileged. Now, I know some people who have money behind them. I know some people who are in privileged positions that don't act like that. They are a little older. I'm worried about this newer, younger age, but fuck. I mean, this newer, younger age, that's where you find these people laughing about destroying race cars. It's in that 25 and under age range. I think it's just hilarious to destroy race cars, whether it's 80,000 or 40,000. It just makes no sense to me. Where's the humility there? And then you'll show your ass for some clicks and some T-shirt sales to make up for the damage. And then influence the whole entire, and this is what I said back then, you're going to influence the next generation to do the same. It took 2 years, and you got fucking every person who's destroying the race car trying to say something as dumb as fucking idiotic as possible to get some attention similar to Charlie Medford. OnlyFans.com. That's where you people need to go. That's what you are in those moments. Showing your ass for the dollar bill. Everyone going to the Dome expects nothing less. It's just show, and everyone knows that. Okay, that's fine. We know that in the dirt world, but when it's being projected to new people outside, when this event is getting more attention, when Barstools is retweeting it, when more people are paying attention to these fucking idiotic moments, it's literally labeling the entire sport. Not just the Dome, but the entire fucking thing. That's why I sat here and began this video and I hope now that sprint car racing and dirt racing is two different categories. I hope, just for the sanctity of its respect. Because anything that gets collaborated with what was just publicized over the last few days in the numbers that we saw it get publicized in is instantly losing its credibility and respect as a professional form of motorsport. It's instantly gone. You're nothing but a Jerry Springer white trash fucking hillbilly redneck bum shit in the woods, fighting and spilling and flopping all over the track and flying out of fences like a fucking clown show. I don't want to be associated with that shit at all. Now, I'll get on here and get all pissed off and yell and scream, but I ain't trying to be that fucking shit. I'm just fucking saying, guys. The Dome is pro wrestling. It's not racing. Right, but this, once again, when something to this event to its magnitude is being picked up by this media entity and then pushed and celebrated, when that wrestling image of what this is pushed out and made bigger and is getting this amount of attention to newer people, it's overshadowing all of this other shit we do at Eldora and Knoxville and all these regular racing season opportunities. It's overshadowing it all because this is the first taste of the food that we have to offer. And it's a shit fucking sandwich. Let's see. I saw another. The frame alone is over 10K if I'm correct. If not correct, please. If not, correct me, please. Yeah, 10,000. These kids are just laughing, thinking it's funny. Before the Medford mention, or before the Medford moment, didn't have that. Now everyone that gets interviewed tries to cuss, yells at the crowd, or says something silly, or tries to be an OnlyFan, tries to show their fucking ass for some attention. They're nothing but fucking Instagram models, or wannabe. They're wannabe Instagram models. You know, the funny thing about the OnlyFans comment is, you know, OnlyFans got some traction back in the day when it was new, and it's almost like YouTube. A few people got on there and they got really big, and you got millions of fucking chicks on OnlyFans that went on there and showed their ass just like the successful one and ain't got an ounce of the attention but lost all of their morals and self-respect. Just it's what happens on YouTube. That's why I do how I want, whenever I want, how I want to do it, because I see that when I went over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'm in the top 1.75% of the fucking world. Which means there's a couple million fucking unsuccessful YouTube channels out there that just tried to emulate what other fucking people were doing. So similar to the successful OnlyFans models, the maybe let's say 10,000, there's fucking 10 million OnlyFans models that went out there and degraded themselves and didn't get the same amount of attention as those 10,000. Just like in this scenario, you got one or two guys who went and made an ass of themselves on camera at the Dome, and they were successful at doing it, and now you got hundreds or anyone who gets onto a camera trying to do the same thing, and they're not getting the success, but they lost all their fucking morals and self-respect along the way. because they weren't being themselves. They were just trying to be like somebody else. That's the problem with most people is emulation. I guarantee you if half the people on there trying to just cuss and get some fucking OnlyFans, show my ass Charlie Mefford attention, and they just got that interview and was themselves and said what they felt and said what they think, they might have got bigger than ever, bigger than Charlie Mefford. But since they're up there trying to be a fake fuck, just trying to emulate. Who are you? What's your name? Come tomorrow? What's your name? Chaz has a successful OnlyFans account. No, I opened one for comical purposes, though. Brad Bowden, the cussing is beyond cringe. It's so forced. Yeah, they're just trying. And we can't just say this on Charlie Mefford. I think that Tyler Erb is a big issue here. I noticed the first person I noticed forcing cussing and forcing, like, I'm watching the interview and I'm like, he didn't really say fuck in a natural way. Like, I could sit here and be like, I'm drinking or whatever. I'm like, man, whatever, fuck you, you know. That's like a natural kind of way it comes out. But Tyler Erb was like the first guy. He was just like trying to find something to say and was like, fuck or something. It was like he was just trying to find a way to cuss. And other people I noticed have eventually attempted to do the same. They're just cussing to try to get a rise out of people or make somebody hate them or like them, or it makes no sense. It's not cussing in a logical sense. Like, I could sit here and say, well, man, that's bullshit. Okay, well, I could say that and mean it, but it's like they're saying these words that have no reason. Selling T-shirts, selling their ass. That's all they're doing is selling their ass. They're acting fraudulent. Maybe this is why Tyler Erb, you know, it's funny. Eldora Speedway at the King's Roll, they asked all the sprint car people, you know, who would you want your sister not to date? Everybody said Tyler Courtney, most of them. We all know why they said no to Tyler Courtney, right? We all know the devilish deeds that he does behind the scenes in the sprint car racing community. They asked the people at Gateway the same question, who do you not want your sister to date? And they all said Tyler Erb. They all said Tyler Erb. So that tells me that, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but it sounds like Tyler Erb is doing some similar things to what Tyler Courtney did. Why would everybody point to him? I'm not saying exact same or exact or anything. I'm just saying, I know why all the sprint car people said they don't want their sister to date Tyler Courtney. I don't know why everybody said no to Tyler Erb dating their sister, but I have a general idea based on the example as to why they said it for Tyler Courtney. So, once again, kids, look at who you're listening to or trying to emulate. Do you think Tyler Carpenter is genuine? He says on one lap, one beer, he sells over $50K in merch at the Dome. Probably. Well, he's done that through winning, though. Winners get attention. You know, if Charlie Mefford would have did what he did and then started winning everywhere, that attention would have followed. Or started winning, or he was to start winning at the Dome, for instance. I do think that winning leads to success in the T-shirt department. If Tyler Carpenter never won at the Dome, he would have never sold as much shirts as he did. I would almost bet you that Charlie Mefford's T-shirt sales this year tanked. Maybe some of the BS lingered over a few years now. I just don't know if it's definitely not as sustained, I would assume. Seen a lot of USMTS events, more professional, yes. Entertainment is doing what people want to see. Do it, get the money. Pimping ain't easy. Okay. I mean, entertainment is doing what people want to see. If you're a woman out, how would you people, you drivers out there, how would y'all exist in the world as a woman? I'm curious. Entertainment is doing what people want to see. Well, if you're a woman in society, everybody wants to see your titties. You're going to start running up and down the road showing your tits to anybody who will give you a dollar, do it to get the money. Pimping ain't easy. If y'all were a woman, is that what y'all would do? Where's your fucking morals? Where's your standards for living and operating in life? I mean, once again, that's why I relate to what these people are doing. Very similar to OnlyFans. You're showing your fucking ass for that dollar bill. Throwing your morals out the window. Your respect out the window to get that money, huh? Does Hannah Newhouse have an OnlyFans? No, I don't know. I heard she broke up with Dustin or whatever. They got a divorce. Relax, this is just Chili Bow 2.0. It's a show. The Chili Bow used to be a race, then it turned into entertainment and a show. Yeah, but the Chili Bow always has great racing. The Chili Bow always races extremely well. Thank you for the super chat once again, Knuckle Skinner. You're literally paying my bills. I can't deny this, but I don't know about Hannah Newhouse. I know a lot of people were trying to get me to hook up with Hannah Newhouse after she broke up. They're like, hey, she got a divorce with blah, blah, blah. You should hit her up. Y'all could be a power couple. I'm like, no, not doing it. I'm interested in other people. I have my own little love life I'm trying to have, I'm not just going to go up in there and fucking, what would that even be called? That would be like an emotional predator, right? Trying to capitalize on an emotionally stressful situation. That's something Spike should do. Go and tell Spike to hit up Hannah Newhouse. That's his wheelhouse. That's not mine. Just being honest. But Chili Bow is a race. You go to the Chili Bow, the cars are, I think, a little more difficult to drive. Good for Dylan Welch. Hannah is a little runaround anyways. I didn't say that. You did. Power Thruple? Power Thruple. What does that even mean? Or do I need to know what that means? I'm kind of scared to know what that means. I think Chili Bow's a little more just racy in general. You don't have ruts. You don't have cars flying through the air. I thought the Thursday night track at the Gateway Dirt Nationals was possibly the best racetrack we had ever seen. And apparently purposely they juiced the track up more and made the track ruddy on purpose, I guess. I don't know what to... I really am thrown back because I thought the Thursday at Gateway was just the best damn race there is. I really did. Ashley messing the game up. Ashley who? Hannah wasn't married a year, I don't think. Yeah, that's true. They weren't together long. If they are separated, I'm not sure. First time watching the Gateway Dirt Nationals, thought it was a fun event if you just want to watch a show. That's why I said the other day, it is one of the best shows. Now, if you're a part of the dirt track racing community and you're not concerned with the growth of this sport, that's great. I think dirt track racing fans can appreciate Gateway Dirt Nationals as a fucking freak show. As a show, as an entertainment-based venue and event. But I think when it starts getting promoted to newer people and stuff, especially with this ass-showing mentality that this event has, that for us is so funny and ha-ha-ha and great, when you show it to new people, it's like, what the fuck is this Jerry Springer shit? Oh, this is dirt track racing? Huh. It's just like the rednecks driving in circles I've always heard about. Bunch of fiddle fucking around here. I'll watch it. It's fucking hilarious. Look at the fat guy run across the track and fight the other dude. He's slapping him in the helmet. This is fucking great. Ricky Bobby was 100% accurate. I thought that movie was a joke. Hell, I didn't know it was a documentary. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. The late model A-Main was good. I'm not denying that. There's a lot of good. But it does seem like the good doesn't get pumped as much and is overshadowed by the fuckery. By the straight fuckery. By the straight OnlyFans mentality shit. By the OnlyFans Jerry Springer style white trash redneck fucking sloppery. Like I said to begin this, I don't think the sprint car racing industry would allow that shit to get wind publicly. Whereas it seems like everybody's embracing it. I guess because it gets their numbers up and and they get some big ad revenues. I don't know. I mean, that's possible, right? That shit happens in everyday life, though. Really? Wow. Wow. Interesting. I really don't know the last time I saw that at a sprint car race. And if it did, I don't know when's the last time I saw it get promoted and cherished and loved and spread around to the nation. I really don't remember that at all. I mean, hell, even the stuff we seen at Shootout in Chilibo, the top of the ramp stuff, yeah, it's got some numbers, but people went to jail. I believe the one guy at the Shootout has a felony on his record right now from just a little skirmish in the pits, guys. See, in the open wheel world, they take it seriously. They look down on it. They don't yell and hoot and holler for it. I mean, that place had a bunch of people every year. It's getting bigger and bigger. I think it screams. I went to a party and a race broke out. It's a hell of an event. It's a hell of a show. I think it's great. But I think some of the things that happen in that dome and how it gets promoted is going to destroy the growth of the sport. Now, some of you people don't care about the growth of the sport. You just want to sit back and get drunk and laugh at what happens, and that's fine. I'm talking about the respect of the industry. But I think it's a little bit different when you're in the sprint car world because life and death is on the line over here. So you care about the respect of the people while they're living instead of paying the respects when they're dead. Chili Bow turned into a bunch of 14-year-olds in rent-a-rides with no respect. This is an unfortunate truth. They even do a flip count. There's maybe 20 good car drivers in the 350 cars there, and that's about it. This is true. 20 to 25. It's true. Lanny used to tell them to fight on the track. What are you talking about? Yeah, and how many times does that happen? Yeah, two people are going to pull the car out of gear and come to a stop and start fighting. They tell them to fight on the track because they know it's never going to happen. That way, when they go to the pitting area, they know that they can catch them and stop them from fighting. And if fighting does happen, they can punish the people involved. Fighting on the track never happens in a direct drive racing vehicle. If it does, it's very rare. Very rare. So, yeah, all these promoters saying, y'all just go and fight on the track is just a diffusion for not fighting at all. If you've never figured that out in a direct drive vehicle, you need two guys to literally pull their cars out of gear, come to a stop, and get out of their cars and start fighting. That whole statement is just a bullshit excuse so that they can never have fighting at the facility. And if they do, it's in the pits. And based on recent interactions, everybody's got press charges and everything like that. Off to bed. Thanks for making racing great again, Chaz. Later, boss. We're trying. Show a kitty cat. I'm intermission, and you'll have 600 million watchers. Oh, God. Whew. Okay. OnlyFans. I said it's OnlyFans. I mean, they're trying to do that. I mean, the numbers were big on their bullshit. If you looked at the numbers of all the bullshit that happened at the Dome, it was large. It was huge. They were getting a lot of attention for showing their ass. Their kitty cat, the dirt track racers' kitty cat, which is their ass. They weren't showing. They didn't get that publicity for amazing racing. They didn't get that publicity for amazing back and forth action or a guy fixing his car or something like that. They got all that attention for cars flying out of the fucking racetrack, fence repairs, somebody making some stupid fucking remarks, or some guy running across the track and jumping in a window. If you don't know what I'm trying to say in this, I don't understand. Jade Avedisian will give you a fist bump if you send her out of the park. Jade Avedisian apparently wants to slap me. So does Kaylee Bryson. So if I go to the Chili Bowl, I might be in trouble. I might have issues. So apparently, we get to officially tell you that the Gateway Dirt National, see what I'm talking about, guys? See about the mislabeling of the sport? This is the clip of the fat guy running across the track to hit the driver in his car This clip right here, I wonder if I can get it to focus. This clip is on ESPN. This is what gets exposed to the sport, to the world. So see, this ain't funny to regular people. This is a fucking joke. This ain't respectful coverage. This isn't going to make the sport grow. This isn't going to make Jonathan Davenport a legend in people's eyes or gain notoriety or respect for Bobby Pierce or Ricky Thornton Jr. or any of your fucking superstars. This ain't going to help your sport grow. This is going to help your sport be a fucking laughing stock, a clown show. Y'all want to be a fucking clown show? Do y'all really want to be a clown show? Because this ain't no clip of Davenport winning at Eldora. This ain't a clip of Bobby Pierce running across the top at Fairbury and making passes the world has never seen before. This ain't Ricky Thornton doing some amazing things on the racetrack. This ain't nothing that's respectful or admirable. This is some fucking bullshit running across. This is a clown running across the track, jumping in the window, showing his fucking ass, and now you're on ESPN Sports Center with it. This is what your sport is, a fucking clown show to the world now because of this shit that you promote. This is a clown show. That's what dirt late model racing is now to the millions and millions of people who've never seen it before in their life. Those in media know what I mean. Those who are in powerful positions of marketing and promotion know what I mean. Some people are profiting from it, so they ignore the problem I'm pointing out. But anyone with any sense of understanding of marketing, promotion, and media and respect and general population recognition, they know exactly what I am talking about right now. That what I just showed you set your fucking sport back 20 more years. Maybe there's some side angle I'm not paying attention to. Maybe some people ain't gonna look at it and laugh at it like it's some dog fucking a football or something. Maybe some people are gonna be like, oh, well, man, that guy ran fast and hit that dude. They're running a dirt car or whatever kind of car. They don't know what it is. That thing, that wide body looking old junked up Monte Carlo thing. Maybe what was that? Gateway Dirt, huh? And maybe they go to YouTube and look it up and see the highlights of the race. Maybe they run across maybe they go and research it. Maybe. Or I'm thinking maybe they just sit there and laugh at your fucking sport. And maybe I think they sit there and ignore everything that your sport does now for as long as they ain't seen it. When are they going to see it again? And maybe every fucking driver, sponsor, maybe every car owner, every investor into this sport is now labeled as a fucking clown show, Jerry Springer, fucking white trash, trailer trash, redneck running in circles in the fucking woods, beating people in their windows in some dome that they mixed over into some dirt circle thing. Honestly, if I don't know what to say. Cody should have condemned that behavior immediately, but what did he say he wants to see? Principles mean nothing in today's time. Big name sport networks shit on dirt track racing, like you said, Chaz. Unless you die, they don't care about the drivers. They don't understand the sport and would rather show a fight. There was actually one time they did show dirt track racing, and it was late models from Eldora, and it was the prelude to the dream. See, when drivers that people in society respect get into our race cars, they get respectful attention. Does that make sense? What I'm saying to you is you ain't got nobody in this sport that the general population respects right now. You got a misunderstood mislabeling of what we are in dirt track racing. Most people think you're a bunch of failures in the high school and college of racing, and you flunked out and you're playing fucking flag football every Saturday night on your World of Outlaw, late model, sprint car, or Lucas Oil tours. You're just a bunch of people who flunked out and couldn't make it to the pros of the NASCAR land. That's what most people think, because that's what happens in every other sport. But when respectable drivers get into our cars, it's on SportsCenter. I believe, I don't know, y'all could research it, but I do think that's the last time that a dirt late model was on SportsCenter. It was when the Prelude to the Dream happened, because respected drivers were on the track. And all these years, the people pumped this money and investment into this sport and growed it to where it is. And that's the next time you're on the fucking SportsCenter list. Yeah. Nobody tried to stop the guy. Announcers were talking about people they'd like to see him in a foot race with. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking sad, man. Fucking disgusting. Like I said, I don't think sprint car racing would let that shit fly. They have a certain level. I hate to say it. They have a certain level of class. Certain level of class. I think the sprint car racing industry could learn a little bit from the dirt track or from the late model racing industry, as far as fandom for their drivers, respect in their own community. But I also think the late model racing industry could learn a lot from the sprint car racing industry when it comes to class and some respect for the sport. Nothing outside of some race. Here, let me say it like this: nothing that was publicized and garnished views and what I just showed you with SportsCenter, none of that would have been accepted in the sprint car racing world. None of that would have been cherished. None of that would have been idolized or pushed or made fun of or making jokes in foot races. Wouldn't have happened. Not in the big boy land. Wouldn't have happened. That's class, bud. That's class. Class it up, late model world. That's what I would say. Class it up. Going to the high limit races in Vegas in March. First time I've seen sprint cars live since maybe the 90s. Is it a decent track? It is. There's been a lot of work out there done. I think it'll be a very interesting event. Want to bet that 25 to 30K people will be back next year, plus 10K more? Yeah, I think the dirt track racing community sees the show. I think it's a hell of a show. I ranted and raved last week about how the Gateway Dirt Nationals is one of the best shows in dirt track racing, but it's a show. The show, unfortunately, I think for those who are invested into the late model world, the show is plagiarizing, misrepresenting, and overshadowing everything else that super late model racing is doing to the general public. Because the crazy Jerry Springer shit that y'all have happening there is reaching the general public more than what y'all regularly do. Braden Sheppard's last 5 laps of the main, winning the race, ain't what's on SportsCenter right now. Do you not see the problem here? Some of y'all are too drunk in the money to see the problem. You're probably right. I went to the 2007 Prelude. Bill Elliott flipped and Carl Edwards won. If they keep doing this, it will turn into NASCAR, and I know I'm a big NASCAR fan. I don't think it'll turn into NASCAR. NASCAR want to let some of this shit go. Look, I mean, you had Bubba Wallace get out the car and throw a few pushes at Kyle Larson, got suspended a race. NASCAR don't let this shit fly either, guys. No professional sport lets this shit fly. You do it in the NFL, you get suspended for a couple games. You get kicked out of the fucking game. The whole entire media and social medias go after you and make you look like a bad person for fighting on the field. Or there's an actual, like, I think in NASCAR and in the NFL, it's called a code of conduct. And if you like demoralize the image of the sport, it's like there's like lines in there that talks about your actions detrimented the image of NASCAR or the NFL or stuff like that. And there's like laws against acting these fucking ways in professional sports. Now, if y'all don't want this super late model thing to be viewed as a professional sport and y'all want it to be a fucking clown show, then okay. But I think this is the difference between sprint cars and late models in a way. Sprint car racing won't allow that. They won't allow that shit to be the mainstay fucking gig. It'll get attention for a week, but they ain't going to promote it like it's gold. It won't change until sponsors and promoters press the issue. Unfortunately, stupidity gets likes and views. Views get money. Nobody outside the sport cares if it's good or bad racing. We do, exactly. Maybe that's the problem. I'm sitting here coming from that perspective. They don't usually talk about the race on Monday. It's usually about the drama. So NASCAR not allowing it, I respectfully disagree. They talk about the drama, but when people start fighting and running across the track and looking like fucking a clown show, you get in trouble for that. It's true. Seen many times where a driver tried to go to another car and were stopped immediately. Exactly correct. You're just jealous. Well, if I spelled jealous that way, I'd be jealous too. NASCAR loving the clicks and drama is what I meant. Well, of course, they're trying to stir some controversy, but it's not to the degree where they're forcing cussing on interviews and junking cars and trying to come up with clickbait, laughing topics or punchlines to get fame, or running across the racetrack to slap somebody's helmet while they're in the car. They don't really love that click and drama. People get suspended for those clicks and dramas. Did we not watch Kyle Busch get hit in the face for 3 weeks on ESPN? We did. But they get attention on ESPN outside of that. That's the problem. NASCAR gets attention whether they get in fights or not. They have shows on public television that reaches generalized people to where an instance like that won't plagiarize and overshadow what else is happening in the sport. We get so little attention that when we do get attention, we need it to be about the good things, the professional things, the talent-based things, but it never happens. Once again, it does go back to when a driver dies, or I guess now, thanks to Gateway, when people run across the track and fight them, or when they wreck cars and laugh about it. I guess. And once again, some of these things are going to happen, and they're just going to happen, but my issue is when people support it. My issue is when people think it's a good thing. People in powerful positions, they think it's great that Barstools is retweeting us looking like fucking clowns, monkeys fucking footballs. And now the world, who never sees us when we're out here fucking footballs. Like SportsCenter just played. He could have at least got the visor off. If you want to be WWE, pull it off better. Yeah, he could have. Hell, we got arrested several years ago for fighting. We saw dudes get celebrated for fighting. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I mean, we could go in the circle for hours, but yeah, I just got sent that clip after we had this discussion here, this image of ESPN SportsCenter. That's what the world thinks of dirt late model racing now. Monkeys fucking a football, Jerry Springer shit. And it ain't like NASCAR. This ain't NASCAR. They're not going to see this clip and then see Jonathan Davenport. They're not going to see Winter Heat. They're not going to see Florida with Volusia, the great racing down there. They're not going to see anything else to understand what else is happening on these racetracks and the talent and the ability. This is what they see. This is what America views dirt late model racing as now. This is what I've been telling you. When y'all pull this shit off and celebrate it, this is the problem. This is the problem. The misrepresentation of this fucking sport is what I've had an issue with for a long time. And when y'all celebrate that misrepresentation, I got a fucking problem with it. And at least my broke ass, who ain't going to take the money to laugh about it and celebrate it, is going to sit here on YouTube and say something different. That's it. Whatever happened with Ricky Weiss and crew at Cedar or USA Nationals? Oh, you ain't heard about them. They kind of went ghost from that national racing scene, though, huh? You see, you get to Lucas Oil, you get to World of Outlaws, they don't really promote this shit much, do they? These leagues that understand this professionalism. I see your point as that was their biggest platform to make an impression. Truth to that. Exactly. That's the one negative to the Gateway Dirt Nationals and in influencing and embracing this crazy shit is it's such a big platform because it is the single event that is so unique that the things that happen in there get pushed and promoted to the point it smothers the rest of the action that's happening. It ain't like NASCAR where next week we're going to see a decent race or highlights or something and Chase Elliott wins and it's a great finish. They're not showing that. The regular people that you're supposed to be trying to attract to the sport, they're not going to get anything. But they're going to get that Jerry Springer shit we just saw. Literally. Just showed it. ESPN Sports Center. ESPN Sports Center. To the average person, Steve Kinzer is a bum that couldn't make it in the pros. And that's what every one of our dirt track racers are labeled as, even in today's world. All of our great dirt track racers are literally viewed by the average foe as flag football players. They failed in the high schools and colleges of racing that we know that don't exist, but society thinks it exists because that's in every other form of sport. The pro levels of all these sports are on television. And in the NFL, NBA, and all these sports, the best players of the said sport are there. And the players that are down the street racing at my local racetrack or playing flag football are the ones who weren't good enough to make it to the television screen. We might see a flag football event, though, highlight if one of the players does something stupid and there's a big fight on the field. Or if they have some big kind of like gathering at a dome and they play on a professional football field, like the greatest of greatest flag footballs, and there's a big brawl like in a dome. Then we'll hear about the flag football players and their dome fight. But yeah, none of them are good. They're just a bunch of fucking dropout bum rednecks who couldn't make it to the NFL. That's why they're so fucking mad at life that they get out of their cars and fight and shit. Agree, Charlie. He tried Cup and IROC, but still there will never be their best in a sprint car. Yeah, I mean, he won in IROC, for the record, when he had a fair chance. Steve Kinzer's Cup chance, I don't think it was fair at all. They took him from a sprint car straight to a Cup car, gave him 6 races in an experimental race team that wasn't good, and literally threw him out of the sport and said he sucked. There wasn't no grooming in ARCA or a year in truck or anything like we see today with people who try to transition from dirt to asphalt. They literally just took him and threw him in a Cup car, a startup team, average equipment, threw him out in 6 races. So, yeah, I do think that was a really good marketing ploy by NASCAR to try to degrade sprint car drivers. I think that's what I honestly think that's why that situation happened. It was to degrade Steve Kinser to kind of prop up Jeff Gordon in that era. So I saw that as a marketing move for the NASCAR racing industry, personally. If you think about it in the media world, that actually tells you what to think, like CNN and Fox and all these media entities. That's exactly a great rational reasoning as to why that happened. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it is an hour and 30 minutes into this show. That is what I think. I could sit here and go in circles. Obviously, I could get more Snapchats and messages sent. But these are my takeaways from the Gateway Dirt Nationals. My takeaways from looking at both sports and kind of having my social science or social experiments, seeing all the different communities operate and work and see how some are getting manipulated. And honestly, my whole entire opinions are based in media manipulation and misrepresentation, recognition, respect, all these things. All my premises have always been based on that. And to see the damage that I just showed you, ESPN, the damage to the sport that was just taken in over the last couple of days, and especially now, I don't know if dirt late model racing is ever going to recuperate. And once again, like I said to begin the show, before the ESPN screenshot and everything, I hope, for sprint car racing's sake, that sprint car racing is viewed as something completely different than dirt track racing or late model racing, for their respect sense, for their recognition, for their future. I hope. And I think it's possible because of Larson. I hate to say this, but Larson and other entities that promote sprint car racing as this thing. They say sprint car racing, sprint car racing, sprint car racing. They don't say dirt track racing. They don't say late model racing. Maybe there's hope for sprint car racing to kind of distance itself from this kind of plagiaristic kind of representation in general public or in the general public and their thought process of what it is. So maybe there's some hope for the sprint car racing industry. But the late model industry, man, y'all need some help. I just think y'all need some help, man. Well, thank you, Brian Smith. You're the only dollar I'm going to get. I mean, I'm not going to get no dollars. In this whole entire episode, I've been texting Cody Sommer yesterday. We've been on a text basis for a decent amount of time. That's probably going to change after this. I thought he was initially mad at me because of my Medford comments. After this, I'm sure it's going to be next level. I've had general conversations with Michael Rigsby. I'm sure that's going to change after this conversation. Any potential work in the future or collaboration with this event or potentially with Flow or anyone involved in Flow is destroyed. But this is why I value truth more than money. I believe in authenticity more than fakery. I believe in morals and values. And I'm willing to risk them and to risk money to retain those things. Whereas other people are willing to throw those things away for the money. I don't do that. I don't operate that way. And I hope that people that see the authenticity of my opinions and the care for the sport and the way I'm talking about it will send super chats, will join the membership on the channel. It definitely means a lot. Keep up the killer content, man. Great work. Thank you so much for the support there, Brian Smith. Consider joining the membership. I think the base level is like $2.99 or $4.99 or something like that. That's the type of support that we get on the channel, and that's why you see the names at the top right or left of your screen. So public support is what's going to keep this thing going and rolling and keeping the truth supported, because these corporate conglomerates and these people in powerful positions, especially the ones who are doing the things that they're doing right here that I'm talking about, if you support that, I'm not going to support you, and more than likely, that means I'm going to lose the support of your financials or any way to make financial gains through working with you. And that's fine. That's fine. I know when I'm going to take my last fucking few breaths, I ain't going to have no regret on my mind. I ain't going to have no guilt. I'm going to know real peacefully that I kept the peace. Real peace. The peace of mind, because I didn't hide it. I was authentic with it. Sorry. Thank you, Garin 46. Hopefully you have no relation to Co Trickle. No, I'm just playing. Chaz 2024. It's almost 2025. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next year. We'll see if we get to the Chili Bowl. We'll see what happens. Once again, thank y'all for the super chats. Going to get out of here. It is just past 1 o'clock in the morning. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll try to shut me down after I said this. Sometimes the truth hurts them. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, comment below. Thank you for the super chats. Once again, membership button if you want to join the monthly support. As always, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.